What's up guys, Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time we're doing part 5 of Keep Your Foot on the Pedrogas, which is complete all of Halo Reach's legendary campaign missions in under 3 hours. So to start this up, it has to be on legendary obviously. We're going to run up here and turn to the left instead of the right. And we're going to jump into this gap and into the water here. We're going to hit a soft kill zone, so don't worry about that. We're going to get out of it before the 10 seconds elapses. And by taking this path, we're ignoring all of the enemies on the right along the beach. They're going to ignore us for the most part as well and just focus on Noble Team, and we're just going to make our way to the Wraith over here, which is going to land on a platform in the water. So just enjoy the view for now, and we're just going to sprint over here, and then we'll be able to board this Wraith from the backside in a second. So just enjoy the nice explosion in the distance there. Very pretty. And we'll keep moving here, and we're going to actually hide. There's a little bit of cover up here on a walkway, so that is where we are going to seek refuge right up ahead here. We're on the walkway, we're punching the sides, the cover that I was talking about, and we're going to wait for this spirit to move up ahead here. It's going to stop, and then for a second we're going to wait. So it stops, wait for a little bit, and then we're going to sprint over here as it descends and drops off the Wraith. So right when the Wraith drops down here, we're just going to jump onto the back here and just punch it to death. And we will be able to take it out very quickly and easily, probably take little to no damage, and then we'll just run back up here, and we will fight actual enemies. You don't have to fight enemies. Noble Team will take out all of these guys on the beach for you, but obviously this is a speed run, so we're going to help them out here. So just move around here, and we're going to take out these jackals first, because these guys have needle rifles. Sometimes they're there, usually they are there. Sometimes they back up towards the base, so watch out for that. And once we take out those 2 needle rifle jackals, we can take out the remaining jackals down at the beach here fighting Noble Team. They're very distracted, so they're fairly easy to kill. They're not really using their shield to defend against us. They're defending against Noble Team, so we could see their head most of the time and land some easy, quick headshots. And we'll take out that grunt, and also the concussion rifle elite is normally much more durable than that, but he was taken out by Noble Team. He would be the last target, and it's fairly easy to wrap up around him and assassinate him, or just take him out as his shield pops from Noble Team. But you want to grab the rockets from the Marine that just passed us and go kill this guy to grab his rocket ammo. And we also grabbed some health pack as well. And we're going to run up here and assassinate this guy. Sometimes he doesn't like to go down, so we're just going to continue firing as we move past him. And then we'll move up here. There's going to be a doorway. It's going to open up for us. And then we're going to go down to the right, and there's going to be another doorway that we have to wait for it to load to open up, actually. So we're just going to hang out here for a little bit. And there's going to be a sword on the other side of this door, which we're going to grab. So we're going to have a sword and rockets moving into this next section. So just be ready at the door here to grab the sword, and then we're going to sprint up the ramp, the staircase, to get to the saber. And once we get in the saber, there will be a cutscene, and we're going to skip that, and we're going to head into space. So here we are in space, and the first thing we're going to do is just start flying directly up for a little bit so we can get some height advantage. We're not really boosting or rushing through it or anything, because there's a lot of time between now and the first wave of enemies. So just casually fly up for a little bit, and then we are going to fly to the right towards a big blue, pretty glowing thing in the sky. And you can see we are now leveling out. And we're going to look at Anchor 9 over here in the distance, and you can see we're about the same height as Anchor 9. So that is a good height to be at. And we're going to turn towards this big blue, glowing pretty thing on the right, and we're going to approach from over here. So we're going to talk about the part-time for a little bit. The part-time for this mission is 25 minutes, so that's what we're shooting for. If we get the part-times on Legendary for each mission, that will get us this achievement, because they all add up to 2 hours, 35 minutes, so we'll have a nice 25-minute buffer. So this mission is one of the challenging ones, so if you do go over by a little bit, don't worry about it. You can make it up on other easier missions. This mission you'll probably go over. It's one of the more challenging ones, along with Pillar of Autumn at the end. But there's a bunch of missions, like I mentioned, where you could save time. So we're going to shoot for 25 minutes, but if you go over by a few minutes, don't worry about it. But we're going to turn around, and there's a nav point here, and the Banshees actually are a little above the nav point and to the left of it, so be ready for that. But we're going to shoot these first Banshees that come through, and you can actually see you don't have to move your reticle too much. They actually kind of fly directly towards it from this angle, so that's why we set up here. And you can string together a nice Killionaire here if you are practiced enough, which I am not apparently at this point. But you could look down once you kill those initial Banshees, and you can see there's more kind of swooping up and away from you, and it makes it much easier to take these guys out fairly quickly from the position we're in. And also, due to our positioning, you actually have a good amount of time to take out most of them before they actually become a threat, because they're kind of all flying away from you, and you don't really need to worry about them attacking you for a little while until most or all of them are dead. So once you kill most of them, you can see nav points are set on the last few, and then we could take them out. And I actually died here, so you can see the video jumped ahead a little bit, and my timer jumped up a little bit. Ideally, you would want to position yourselves the same way we did with the Banshees for this next wave. You can see the Seraphs came in the same way, in the same direction that the Banshees did, so it would be a good vantage point, but unfortunately, we were unable to get there in time. before the wave came in here. But we'll just have to deal with them as is. But you can see for the Seraphs, what you want to do to take these guys out is use your chain gun to take down their shields. And then once that occurs, you want to switch to your missiles, which actually lock on and finish them off. Unless they pull off some evasive maneuvers, which they usually don't do. Sometimes they do, though. So just be aware of that. And then you can switch your attention to the next Seraph. So we have 2 to go here. Take down their shields, switch to your missiles, and lock on. It takes a couple seconds to lock on, so you don't want to just fire immediately like I did there. But we have 1 left. Where is he at? We got a nav point on him. We'll take this guy out, and then the big wave, the biggest wave, comes following this part. So there's going to be a bunch of Banshees and a bunch of Seraphs as well. So this is the annoying wave. If you die a couple times, that's fine. You'll save more time, on foot when you're playing through the normal FPS parts of the game. So this could be a frustrating part, but you just want to take this nice and slowly here. We're going to go back to that position we were in initially, where we're kind of up high by the big blue nebula thing, over the wreckage over here. And then you can see the enemies come in from the same direction every time. I like to take out 1 Seraph and then just go hide down here. And this is a fairly safe spot to be in. They do come shoot at you occasionally. And eventually I like to go behind Anchor 9. But to start, you can't really get behind Anchor 9 reliably because you're just getting shot up too much. So I like to go down here first and get my shields and hull integrity back. And then I'll go behind Anchor 9 eventually if I feel like it. And you can see behind Anchor 9, I like to look to the left over there because sometimes there's a ton of Banshees over there. So there weren't that many this time, but I have seen like a group of like 6 Banshees flying very close to each other behind Anchor 9, so I take the opportunity to take those guys out real quick. But we're just going to hang out here for now, and you'll find that you'll get a rogue Seraph that flies down here kind of alone, so you could kind of pick them off from the pack. And behind Anchor 9, I would say, is safer, but you're not going to kill as many enemies as quickly. You're not going to move through the area as quickly. So this is kind of a nice middle ground between safe, but you'll get some action down below here. So when you get that rogue Seraph that peels off from the formation and flies down here, you could kind of take them out 1v1, and then you could just fly back down here and wait for the next one to come down. But if you're still having trouble with this segment, even with this strategy, you could always just go behind Anchor 9. It will be safer. It will take a little bit longer, but again, we're going to make up time on other missions. This is not the mission to make up time to get under, the 3 hours. So feel free to go over par time by a few minutes. It doesn't matter. We're going to save that time elsewhere. And we could really just go behind Anchor 9 and let our friendly forces take everybody out if we're really not comfortable with this space fight. But now that we have gotten through that first part of the final wave here, there's going to be 5 Phantoms that come in, and we have to take them out. And then once we do that, this part of the space battle is over. But what I like to do for these guys is actually just fly up from below. So I'm going to just fly down to the bottom of the playable area, down towards Reach, and you don't really get attacked down here, so you could just come up from below like a shark attacking its unsuspecting prey. And that's what we're going to do for all 5 Phantoms. And you could see whatever closest Phantom, you could see there's the readout on how many meters away they are. You could always just look at the closest one, whatever the lowest number is, fly towards them. At about 850, 900 meters or so, you'll be able to lock onto them and just fire from below. And it only takes 2 salvos of missiles to take these guys out. So this isn't the fastest way to go about this part, but it is pretty quick and it is pretty safe. So I like to trade in the speed for safety for this part because I think most of us would agree that we are not as comfortable in space than when we're on foot, with a DMR or something. So most Halo players, I think, would be more comfortable saving time elsewhere and just trading in, a little bit of time to get through the insanity and frustration that is this space battle. So we've taken those guys out, and now I'm going to skip ahead because all we have to do is dock at Anchor 9. So just wait for the nav point to activate, and then we will be able to land there. Just make sure you're not boosting at it because you could crash into Anchor 9, and then you will have to, start at the last checkpoint. So that would be really annoying. We docked on Anchor 9, we skipped the cutscene, and we find ourselves here. We're going to dive down to start, and we're going to come up under this Covenant ship ahead of us here because there are going to be a bunch of Banshees docked underneath. We want to take those guys out before they even have a chance to launch and cause any trouble for us. So you can actually get a good amount of kills here. You can get a Killionaire. Looks great. And then we want to focus on the Banshees that are trying to get away. These guys are fairly easy to take out, actually, because they are kind of staying in a bunched-up formation. They swoop down to the left or swoop down to the right of the ship, depending on where they launch from. So since they're in a bunched-up formation, it's fairly easy to take them out. You don't have to move your reticle as much as if they were kind of all scattering. And then you want to turn your attention to the Seraphs in the area. Your main objective right now is to actually take out the Corvette's engines, but once you do that, more enemies will come into the area, and you have to kill all of the enemies to move on to the next part of the mission. So it's better to just kill all the enemies that are here right now, and then take out the engines, and then you'll have to fight the final wave, instead of taking out the engines quickly, and then you have the final wave plus all the people you didn't kill yet. Obviously, it's easier to kill a few people twice than a bunch of people once. So that's what we're going to do here. And you can see that this big Covenant Corvette ship in the middle of this playable area is actually being circled by this human ship, the Savannah. So we're going to use this ship for cover when we need to. You can see I kind of dashed over here real quick because I was low on shield and health. So I just made my way behind this guy. You're not 100% safe behind him, but you're definitely more safe than you are out in the open. And you could use the actual Covenant ship for cover in some instances as well. But be aware that the Covenant ship has guns on it, so you don't want to be, hiding in front of a gun, because frankly, being in front of a gun is not that safe. So now that we've taken out all of the Seraphs and all of the Banshees in the area, the Covenant Corvette has no help. Again, it does have guns, so you're not 100% safe, and you could always crash into something. We're going to take out these engines from behind, and as I say crash into something, the Savannah just comes in out of nowhere and tries to sideswipe me. So we'll take out this last engine here, and then it will trigger the final segment of the space battle. No more space battles after this. We're going to hide behind the Savannah to start, because the Savannah provides good covering fire, and you could actually kind of team up and fire at the same thing, and they'll go down much faster. The last wave of enemies is going to consist of a bunch of Seraphs, no Banshees, just Seraphs. So we're going to team up with the Savannah here. And I'm going to ignore my own advice for the most part and just kind of go after the Seraphs individually. But if you want to, be more efficient, you could just attack whatever the Savannah's attacking. You can see the guns on the side of the ship there firing at some of the Seraphs as well. So they will go down much quicker with the help of your friendly ship here. So we're just going to continue what we've been doing, hiding behind the Savannah when we need our health back, our shield back, and then ducking around the corner and taking out one of the Seraphs that are nearby. You can see we're combining fire here, and we are much more easily and quickly taking out the Seraph now. Like I mentioned, maybe take your own advice once in a while, Silver. That'd be great. Other than that, we're really doing the same thing we've been doing the whole time, which is taking down the Seraph's shields with our chain gun, and then locking on with our missiles to finish them off. I did not lock on with those missiles, so there's still 3 left. Should have finished them off, but I did not allow the lock to occur. I just shot my missiles willy-nilly. Don't do that. Finish them off. Wait for the lock to actually happen so you could have those missiles connect. Take out the Seraphs. And we're going to fly behind this guy again because, again, we are weak. Tends to be a pattern here of getting shot at, really. That's the main thing. It all boils down to we're getting shot at here. We're going to shoot back. So we're going to shoot back and we're going to move on to the next section. We're going to keep shooting. So combine fire where you can. Do what I say, not as I do, because I'm not firing where the Savannah's firing. But it looks like it all worked out in the end, so that's all you could ask for, really. We're going to fly to the top of the Covenant Corvette here because there's going to be a nav point, and they're going to be like, yo, land on the Covenant Corvette. I see a weak point on the top or something. And then you could hop out. You don't actually manually hop out. You just go up here to the nav point. Make sure you don't crash into the ship because you'll have to go back to your last checkpoint, which would be annoying. Skip the cutscene, and you will find yourself here. Whip out your sword and wait for an elite to jump up at you. You will come out of the ceiling or the floor, depending how you look at it, and just slice them. And we'll run and jump across here. There's low gravity, so you could easily make this jump. Another elite will come out over here, slice him. We're going to whip out our rockets, and then we're going to jump down onto this arch type thing, kind of across the ceiling down here. Kill those 2 elites down in the center real quick, and then you could just jump up to avoid the fire from the other elites in the area. And then we could regain our shields, and once we do that, we can move down into this area again. There are 2 remaining elites that we're going to try to fire at them with our rockets real quick, but if we don't kill them with the rockets, we have another easy way to kill them here. So we killed that guy with the rockets, and they're actually being distracted by Marines. So our Marines jump down. It looks like they all died, actually, so they're not being distracted. Sometimes the Marines jump down and distract these guys. Sometimes they don't last that long, but we're going to jump down here, and the elites actually like to jetpack up. Once they're down on the floor there, they're easy to kill because you can just stay up here, and you'll be able to sword them like so, because when they're actually jetpacking, when they're in the air, if their feet aren't on the ground, essentially, they can't shoot you, so you could easily just run up to them and just sword them. But we're going to grab the needle rifle, and I should have grabbed a plasma pistol. There's 2 plasma pistols on the ground in the center of the room behind me, and they have full charge, so I should grab that along with this needle rifle, and then you can move forward. But for these grunts, we want to take them out real quick with 3 quick shots that will give you a super combined explosion and kill them real quick. Then we want to move in here and take out the engineer. He is the main priority. But before we take out this engineer, apparently we're being challenged by this elite. This guy is usually not here. He is sometimes, though. And we took him out quickly with the rockets. But the reason we want to have the plasma pistol instead is because we could actually take out way more elites with the plasma pistol needle rifle combo than we could with just the rockets, because we're going to run out of rockets. I don't know how many I have left. I can't have many. Maybe 1, maybe none. But we're going to just take out these grunts After you take out the engineer, you want to shift your focus onto those grunts on the right side of the room there, because they have a bunch of weapons. Namely, the main one we want to focus on is the guy that has a fuel rod. So take him out. Fortunately, I was able to exchange my empty rockets for this plasma rifle, so I'm going to use that to take down the shields of the elites, which would be much easier with a plasma pistol. But a plasma rifle will do in a pinch. So just don't do what I'm doing here. Just do what I'm saying you should do, which is grab the full plasma pistol in the previous room. For the grunts, we're just going to 3-shot them, continue 3-shotting them to have the super combine kill them. And then for the elites, if we had the plasma pistol, you would be able to noob combo them, which if you don't know what that is, you charge up the plasma pistol, just hold down the trigger, and then that will allow an overcharge plasma pistol burst to accumulate. And then once you release it, it will lock on to whatever enemy you're looking at. It will collapse their shields, and then you can just switch to your headshot weapon for a quick one headshot kill. So that is a very efficient way to take out those elites with the plasma pistol. But you can see I took down the shields of that elite with the plasma rifle very quickly as well. Any plasma-based weapon will take down shielding very quickly, so that is one of the characteristics of Halo gameplay, if you were unaware, is shielding is depleted very quickly by plasma. And if you want to save a few seconds, you could actually activate the switch from below instead of wrapping up around the ramp. And then we'll come out of this cutscene, skip it, and we're going to sprint straight ahead. Don't worry about grabbing ammo or different weapons or health or anything. You have full health now by default, even if you had low health to go into that cutscene. And we're going to stand by this door. Once it opens, we're going to sprint around and kill the 2 elites in here. They're actually taken off guard by the fact that you came at them so quickly. But it actually looks like they weren't startled this time around. Normally they go into their animation of looking at you in surprise and then throwing their hands in the air and roaring. So you could easily assassinate both of them. But we assassinated the one, and then we were able to get the other guy to go into armor lock with the needle rifle. That is a good quality that you want to have the needle rifle for, is the fact that if you just shoot at enemies, they will either go into armor lock, and then you can just keep shooting them until you're behind them and you can assassinate them, or they simply just dodge, so you could just wrap up behind them while they're dodging and assassinate them. But for this section, just follow this path, and you could actually drop down behind this guy and assassinate him. I smacked him, and it looked like I backsmacked him, but apparently it was just to the side, so it did not count as the one-hit kill. But we're just going to stick him. You could actually just noob combo him. I would do that normally. And we'll noob combo this guy. So take him out quickly. Then we'll move to the bridge. And this bridge actually has random setups. So sometimes you could sneakily kill all of the enemies depending on where they lined up. Sometimes you have to just take them out, the hard way. But this is a setup where it's actually ideal for being sneaky. But I decided to just go in, assassinate a couple of them. But then they're all alerted to my presence. So we'll just finish everybody else off with noob combos. And be aware that there are some invisible elites in here. So one of them usually has a sword as well. So that is not good news. So you want to kind of be aware of that and kind of stay cautious, because if you just kind of run into the middle of the room, that sword guy will make short work of you. So you'll have to revert to your last checkpoint, and that will waste time. So there's some grunts in here. Elites, like I mentioned. There's a concussion rifle wielding elite, but we killed him real quick. And yeah, so we'll just move on to the next part of this map, which is the previous part of this map. So once you kill all the enemies in here, you'll be able to activate a switch. There we go. Is that the last guy? Who knows? So yeah, once you activate the switch here, you'll have to go back the way you came to that hangar area where the Pelican flew in that cutscene, and we'll be able to finish the mission. So there will be some grunts, jackals, and one elite that come through here. Now that you activated that switch, that door you came through is populated by enemies. So tear into these guys. They should be pretty easy to kill with the needle rifle from afar. So just stay back. Try not to use this Covenant barricade as cover, because obviously if that takes too much damage, it will collapse. So that was not a good idea on my part. And there's a crate of needle rifle ammo to my right on the right side of the room on the perimeter. So grab that before you activate the switch if you need more ammo. And we're going to grab fresh plasma pistols as we go so we can continue noob comboing elites. This guy almost kills me. That was not a great maneuver. You could also noob combo jackals. Even though they don't have personal shielding all over their body, they do have that shield that they carry, which you could collapse with a noob combo. So that is a good way to get around it. But as we come into this room, there are going to be some enemies that come through that doorway. And there's just a handful of grunts, jackal, and an elite. So you can noob combo the elite, obviously, and then the jackal and the grunt you could just take out with a quick super combine, like we've been doing. Then we're going to move to the next section, which again is one of the previous sections. And this is the final room up ahead here. There's a big battle. There's a bunch of waves of enemies, but we can fairly easily take it. Or I should stop saying fairly easily. I think some people would not agree. But we can hang back here to start and just clear out the whole area. There's more needle rifle ammo in 3 places in this section. The doorway we came through actually has needler rifle ammo, and there's also 2 needle rifle ammo crates on the opposite corner of where I am right now, and also the corner to my right. So there's 2 crates on top of the ramps over on the opposite side of the room here. And there's 2 health packs on the ground behind me. So grab that as you need to. Once you clear out that first wave of enemies that are here when you get here initially, you want to go to this doorway. There's going to be 4 jackals that come out of here. So if you have any nades, it is a good time to use them. Throw one down there. You should be able to kill all of them, hopefully. I only killed 2 there, but then you want to go up the ramp here, and there's 2 more jackals that have needle rifles. So you could grab more needle rifle ammo from them once you kill them real quick with some headshots. And then we could finish these jackals that we let live, apparently. But you can throw both of your nades if you want. I like to have at least 1 grenade for later on, but however you want to do it. I just grabbed a concussion rifle, not for any reason in particular other than my plasma pistol was empty. But you can see once you kill these jackals over here, we're going to turn our attention down to the left over here, and that is where more enemies will spawn in from. There's going to be grunts and 1 elite, and we want to move over here. So once we kill this last enemy from this wave, we will be up on the ramp over here, because this is a good position to be in for this next wave of enemies. And you want to turn around right here because the next wave of enemies come through that lower door in the middle there. So there's grunts in there, and you want to kill 3 or 4 of them and then kind of get up against this door to my left, because there are going to be 2 elites that spawn in, and they go into that angry roar with their hands over their head, and you could easily assassinate one and then wrap up around the other one and then assassinate him as well. And then after you kill those 2 elites, there's going to be 1 elite that spawns in each corner of the map, so 4 total. And we're going to take this one out in the same way. If you're not comfortable doing that, you could always grab a noob combo, and the noob combo is the way I would go about killing the remaining 3 elites as well. I don't know what I'm doing here. I never use the plasma launcher, and it's very strange. I don't know what I'm doing. But you could easily grab one of the plasma pistols off one of the dead grunts in the area, so you could more easily take down the shields of these guys. Here's a plasma pistol. Let's start playing this game like we normally would. Let's play the game how we're recommending it be played, you know? Practice what you preach. Here we go. Noob combo. Very quick and easy. Another noob combo. Another quick kill. Oh, whoop. He's dodging. There we go. And we got 1 left. And you can see that George acts as a pretty good distraction, actually, in the middle of the map. So you can kind of skirt around the edge of the map and be sneaky and noob combo these guys from far away from the safety of being behind George. And then that's the final one. So we will move to the back of the Pelican here. And there's some health, which we don't need. And there's going to be some dialogue from George. And then the cutscene will trigger once he walks back here with you. There it is, and we will finish this mission in just under 25 minutes. We got par time by 35 seconds here, finished in 24:25. So, again, this is one of those missions where it's probably going to be tough for the majority of people to finish in under 25 minutes on Legendary. But if it takes you an additional 10 minutes to finish this mission, that's fine. You have that 25-minute buffer to work with by default, and you can increase that buffer by saving time on other missions. But this one's a doozy for most people. So, that's it for this one, and I will see you for the next installment where we tackle Exodus in Part 6. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, be sure to click on the scorpion icon to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You could also check out some related guides by clicking on the videos on screen, and you can find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Halo guides, and I'll see you in the next one.